Welcome back to the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Make sure you hit that subscribe button just right down there. We're also on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio app, and also Track Life Radio as of recently, man. My next guest, she is a Long Beach native.
Hey.
I actually get this question a lot, to which, like, Nico, like, how do you find some of these new artists that are just, like, totally underground right now? And to be honest, it all comes back from, like, my friends telling me. So shout out to Lorraine, because I think it was maybe, like, 2 years ago, I was just driving around in her whip, and she just started playing this music, and I was like, yo, this is, like, hella vibrant. And I'm not used to listening to such vibrant music with, you know, an artist giving so much detail into her storytelling. With that being said, she has a new record out called Take a Walk, and I literally took a walk as I was listening to Take a Walk, trying to grab some coffee because it's 10 o'clock in the morning right now as we're filming this. She goes by the name of Satica. What's poppin'?
Hi. Nothing much. Just writing, and trying to get shit out, keep shit moving.
Yeah.
And my name's actually pronounced Satica.
Satica. Wow. So I've been fucking this up for 2 years, and Lorraine hasn't stopped me once.
She probably didn't know.
You gotta tell Lorraine,
didn't
yo,
know.
Lorraine, you're fucking up, dude. Satica.
You call me Sati though. Everybody calls me Sati.
Okay.
Yeah, Sati or April.
But then
My real name is Sati though.
yeah. Oh, your real name's Sati.
That's my government name is Satica.
So then where does April?
Dude, my brother, when I was born, my brother was like, no, I don't want her to have a Cambodian name. I want her to be called April from Ninja Turtles. And then my mom was like, no. And then she named me Satica. And then my family were just like, fuck it. I'm going to still call you April.
See, that's crazy.
And it's so confusing.
That's
because
hella
everybody thinks my name is April. And I'm like, no. If you look at my ID, it says Satica.
Well, because even Lorraine introduced you to me as like, oh, my friend April.
Yeah.
And then even if you just go on Wikipedia or whatever,
I know,
like
it
says
says
April.
I know. I've been wanting to explain it, but I was like, how do I do it that people will actually give a fuck? So I was like, I'll just keep it as is, and then whenever people ask, I'll let them know.
Well, because to be honest, Satica is a really dope name. Okay, let me ask you this: is that like a common name in Cambodian?
It's actually pronounced like Satica, which means like
Satica.
Yeah, it's like a magpie. It's a singing bird, which is funny.
A singing purge.
A singing bird.
Oh, a singing bird.
Yeah.
Dude,
Isn't
that's
that
so
funny?
tight.
Isn't that funny?
I think your parents might have purposely done that. You think?
I mean, I'm
were
not mad at it.
Were your parents into music?
No, I mean they like Cambodian karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're real Asian with that shit.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to all the Asian parents who
For
just
real.
always want to do
Just
karaoke during the parties.
My parents know 2 American artists. It's Michael Jackson and Justin Bieber.
Oh my god.
Like that's it. And then the rest is just Cambodian karaoke. It's so funny. My mom will be like, "Can you go on the YouTube and look the Justin Bieber up?"
Oh my
Mom,
god, dude.
Mom, chill out.
How they even see? That's such a huge jump in music. Like,
Right?
you know, I mean, same genre essentially, but there's
It's
like
like-
so many artists in between that they could have gotten
Right.
into.
It's like when they first came to the U.S., like it was Michael Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and then like they know about Justin Bieber from like my nieces and my nephews and shit like
Yeah.
that. So it's just like they skipped like a whole generation.
A whole ass generation, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But what? So did your parents move out here? I think there was like a war.
It's a genocide.
The genocide.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was like a whole dude. My parents have seen some wild shit.
Have they
They've,
told you any
simmered-
stories?
So many. That was like my bedtime stories. Like war. I know my parents are
Genocide was
my
your
parents
bedtime story.
are like so fucked up. My first movie that I've ever seen in theaters was Halloween.
Oh Jesus.
I was 5 years old. I was like,
So from the jump, you were like fucked up. Man,
Well,
I'm watching
kinda.
motherfuckers getting slashed.
I was just like, oh, I'm gonna eat my animal crackers. Like, I'm cool. But yeah, no, they used to tell me that shit, like, just like in the car, like on the way to school, like waiting for my sisters to get picked up because I would get picked up first, and then my dad would just like legit tell me all the things that I should be grateful about, and like these are the things that he had to see, and this is what happened, and yeah, that's just wild. Like both my parents have gone through some shit.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, like you don't ever change after seeing the things that they've they've seen.
Whew.
Yeah.
So then America is essentially like the normal life, right? I mean, to them, I guess. This is what like.
It's like even our like even living in poverty here is way better than living in Cambodia.
Damn.
Yeah. So like for them, all they've ever wanted just from being here was just food on the table and clothes. And like literally that's it. And anything beyond that is just extra.
Yeah.
And that's why I applaud them for whatever they've gone through, because it taught me to be so grateful. And like gratitude is just such a powerful thing in my family and just like me as a person, because fuck, they literally like, I mean shit, my parents still live in the hood right now. So right now they're just trying to give the best that they could to us because they've just gone through so much shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And it was an even crazier statement saying that living in poverty over here is better than living in Cambodia.
Yeah. At that time.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at that time, they were saying people, like, die from left and right.
Yeah.
Like, landmines. Like, my uncle has one leg. Like, yeah. And, like, my dad has, I mean, we're getting real deep into, like, really early in our conversation. But, yeah, my dad's gotten shot. Like, he had a wife before, and then she passed away. And, like, just seeing the people that you love, like, your life is in danger. It's, like, life or death. And over here, it's, like, you could have government assistance. Like, you can work. Like, if you have a mind and if you have a body, like, you can do shit if you want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, as long as you want to do it. And over there, it's just they're at a time where they just literally just had to leave. Like, they went from Cambodia on foot to Thailand to the refugee camp. And when you got to the
on foot
with
wow.
And my brother was like a baby at the time. Yeah. And like once on foot with landmines, with people legit trying to kill you, with the Vietnam War happening at the same time, and then once you get to the refugee camp, you get treated like shit because you're a refugee.
Damn.
That's wild, right? So like Long Beach has, I want to say, the highest population of Cambodians outside of Cambodia. So that's kind of like when all of us just migrated over here. There's like a sponsorship program or some shit.
Well, see, the only reason why I even had an idea of any of this was because I interviewed Stupid Young.
Yo, we went to middle school with
Shut
each
up.
other.
You guys did?
We were in 6th grade drama class. I know his real name.
No, I know his real name too.
Yeah, we had 6th grade.
If you watch that interview, I said his name in like the first couple minutes, and he was like, "Nah, just call me Young, bro." I was like, okay. So wait,
we
you
grew
and
up in the East Side together.
that's hella funny.
We had 6th
You guys are in
grade.
the same grade?
He's a year older than me, but we had 6th grade drama class together at Butler, which is like the most hood fucking middle school on the planet. Like it was fantastic.
Y'all took drama class together?
Drama class. I was on stage crew. Your girl was on stage.
So then what? Shit. So then what was he? Was he just like the?
I don't even remember.
Shit.
Yeah, it was just like, you know, one of those electives. Like it was fun. Like I was a quiet kid. And like, yeah.
Is that, you said Butler, right?
Yeah.
Is that where a lot of the Cambodians like went to school? Or?
I would say a lot of the Cambodians grew up on the east side and on the north side. I mean, we were kind of all over, but like that was just like I don't know if you're familiar with Long Beach, but that was just right next to Poly, Long Beach Poly, and there was a good amount of Cambodians there, but not all of them because I mean, the east side's pretty big, I would say, on a whole. Yeah,
but I mean, it's crazy to think how you know, because back in the Bay, right, a lot of the Filipinos migrate to Daly City. You know what I mean? There's just like that one cluster of where all the Filipinos decide to move in, and it's kind of interesting how like all the Cambodians decide to move to Long Beach out of all places.
Yeah, I don't even think that we decided to like move there. I think. Okay, I'm not 100% sure on this.
Your guesstimate is legit because your family's there.
But I want to say there was like a sponsorship program. So like you would get sponsored by families over here, and Long Beach was one of the choices in the US for Cambodians. I want to say it was like Long Beach and like Lowell, Massachusetts, and like I've never been. So like, yeah, and so I mean, my parents chose Long Beach, thank goodness, because like we're right next to the beach, so
Yeah.
like can't really complain there. But I want to say they got like pushed over there, and so that's why there's such a high concentration of Cambodians over there.
But you know, even moving into your family essentially moved into a foreign area, right?
Oh yeah.
And the way Young described it was that essentially like his family had to help form a gang, you know, in order
Yeah.
to prevent them from getting like murked.
Mm-hmm.
Was your family like
My family, we were so I didn't really have a lot of cousins. I had like one cousin that lived in Long Beach, one family. And so literally growing up, it was just me and my siblings. Like I have 6 siblings. And I guess my parents just always instilled in me not to get into bullshit. And they'd always told that to my brothers and stuff like that. Because, yeah, I mean, they just were like, stay out of trouble and shit like that.
yeah.
And so for me, like, in my family, what we turned to was our community because we lived in like a bunch of apartment complexes. So it was just Cambodian families. Like there's like some of my neighbors are gangsters and they bang and shit like that. But as far as my family goes, all my brothers and shit, like we stayed out of trouble.
That's good.
But yeah, no, it is really like that though. Like you turn to your community, and what I've noticed in my neighborhood, when people needed money, there was like they had their own like system of how they would borrow money in the community, or like if someone was sick or if they knew that a person needed help, they would bring food and shit like that. Like it was very very community based, which I love. Like when my mom was going through shit, like one of my neighbors from across the apartment complex would bring food every day to my dad, and like that was so
Wow.
kind. Yeah, that was so
Yeah.
kind. They would like check in, and they have their own like lottery system where they gamble and play cards and shit. Like, yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
That's kind of crazy. It kind of reminds me. Have you ever watched this movie called The Raid?
No,
I want to say it's either based in Cambodia or Indonesia, right? But essentially, these police raid a building, and the building essentially has like a drug lord and like a gang of people just living within this community, right?
Yeah.
And from the outside looking in, it's like, oh, there's just a whole bunch of gangs in there, you know, let's clean it out.
Yeah.
But then from the inside looking out, it's like, no, like we kind of don't have a place to be in, so we have
Yeah.
to fend for each other.
Exactly. Like who's gonna look out for your people better than your people?
Yeah.
And especially like when my parents came here, they didn't know English. Like they didn't know shit. Like so you have to build your support system around the people that you identify with. And so that's what you do. And that's what my parents did, and like fortunately they had help, but you know, at the end of the day, everybody's just trying to survive.
So then how do you maneuver your way away? How do you maneuver yourself away from all of that and keep yourself, keep yourself on the other side per se?
What do you mean, like staying out of trouble?
Yeah, how do you
or,
stay
like,
out of trouble then? Because you're around that community a lot.
I guess for my family, my parents literally would tell us every single fucking day all the things that we should be grateful of, all the things that they've sacrificed, all the bullshit that they went through so we could be here. And I guess my whole family, they were just like we don't want to end up on the streets. Like we don't want to end up like not successful. Like my parents didn't survive a fucking genocide so we could go to jail and get in some bullshit and not have an education and shit like that. And so like my older brothers and my eldest brother got into a little bit of trouble, but like I think perspective, you kind of get older and you reflect, and then you think about all the things that other people do for you, and like how do you want to come out of that? You want to make your parents proud. You want to give them the things that they couldn't give to you. You want to give your kids the things that your parents couldn't give to you. And so so that's kind of how
it's kind of just like focusing on that one point and kind of applying that to every move that you make.
Yeah, and it's not all bad in Long Beach. I mean, it's so colorful. Like
Oh, Long Beach is one of the
Long
most
Beach is
creative spots
beautiful.
in Los Angeles, man.
It's
I
fucking.
love going out to
I
Long
love
Beach.
Long Beach. Yeah.
Like
That's
my homegirl Ann, she actually works with us at the lunch table, but she lives out in Long Beach, and she
yeah.
bugs me
Like come
every
through.
last Friday or something to go to Fight Club.
I don't even know what
You
that
don't know what
is.
Fight Club is?
What's Fight Club?
It's like a
How do I not
jam
know?
session essentially.
What?
Like you just hop on
I'm hanging
stage and
out with the wrong.
motherfuckers kind of just like they just go on stage and just go.
Yes. That's so dope. I've never even heard about that.
Yeah, dude.
Shit.
Come
I'm
on,
Not, I'm not with it.
And you're
then.
in Long Beach. What's wrong with you?
I mean, I just kick it. Like that's
Yeah.
home.
So then, what was it like for you, like throughout high school, maneuvering through high school?
Like, I mean, in middle school, I was like the weird. Like, I went through phases. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, I like grew up listening to like all sorts of like hip hop and R&B, and then I went through phases through middle school and high school. I went through like a weird emo phase.
Hey man, all of us did. All of us did.
I
Don't
had the
trip.
haircut and everything. Like
Wearing
I was
all
like,
black every single
yup,
day.
I was like listening to My Chemical Romance, like questioning life and shit, like all angsty. Like I don't know. I mean, you find friends and shit that are like minded, and we kind of just navigated and just like. I was always into art. Like, I always loved art in all forms. And so I was just, like, this weird creative person and just kind of kept to myself a lot. And then in high school, I was like, always the music person.
Really? Were you playing any instruments?
I played the guitar.
Okay, there
and,
we
like,
go.
I would do, like, covers, and I made, like, originals and shit, and they were on YouTube. So I just hung out with my friends. I like took the bus everywhere. I, like lied to my parents and just like, hey, you want to go take the bus to downtown? Like,
Shit.
like, I mean, just some hood rat shit. I'm just kidding.
Shit.
Come
I
on,
mean, you
hood
want to
rat
get into
friends.
some hood rat shit. I'm just fucking with you.
Nah.
But dude, like, isn't it kind of crazy how you can be such an artistic person, but you really tend to keep to yourself?
Yeah, dude. I've been noticing that about myself. Like, I'm a lot more introverted than I thought I was. Like, I can talk. I can have a nice conversation one-on-one or like in a smaller setting, but in a large group, like I'm quiet. Like, I like to watch other people instead. Or like if someone's talking, like I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna just sit here and let you talk about whatever, and then I'll just post here, and then whenever I need to say something, I'll say something.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's got
People are fascinating.
you remind me exactly like Lorraine, because Lorraine does that exact same shit.
Really?
Dude, whenever we're out at like some sort of party or whatever, I'll just see her just like sipping some beer,
Like, what is
whatever.
the tea?
I'm just like, you good? She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right. Do your thing. But I think for people who are a little bit more introverted, like it takes a little bit more for you to like trust people with like some information.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily, for me at least, think it's a trust issue. I just like, I don't know.
You find people interesting.
People are fascinating. Yeah, and like, sometimes I don't have anything to say, so I just rather just like see what someone else has to say, and that's how I respond. And it just takes so much out of me. Like, if I'm not comfortable around you, or if I don't have any baseline of anything to talk about, like it's exhausting. Like, socializing is exhausting.
Yeah, because then you have to think about, well, what can I pull out of my ass right now?
Exactly,
And it's like you don't want to pull out the,
Like, I wanna-
oh, what's the weather like? You know, how's the weather
Like,
today?
Yeah, and everything depends on your mood. Like, at the end of the day, like, I would love to hear if someone wants to talk about the fucking weather, but like, I'm not gonna pry it out. Like, if you want to tell me, sure, like, I'd love to listen, but like, it's exhausting if you don't have any sort of baseline or commonality, because then I'm like, okay, how's your mom?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Well,
So like,
anyways,
what do you do for a living? You know, like, I mean, if you want to talk about it, like, I'm more than happy to listen. But yeah.
do you ever take the social, like, let's say you're observing someone in the room, right? Do you ever take situations like that and like put it into a song?
I feel like I have before. for me to write a song, it has to be very specific in my mind, like that.
Oh, I can
memory.
totally tell.
Oh,
You know, because as I said, your songwriting is on point. I'm like,
oh,
yo, you're
thank
over here painting a
you.
picture as I'm listening to this
Thank
shit.
you.
And
That
you know,
means
you
so
you have
much.
like a very great way of like explaining details
Oh,
to the T. So shout out to you, man.
thank you.
So that's why, you know, when I was listening to your shit, I was like, well, I feel like maybe half of it is her experiences and then the other half is her also like observing people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Long Beach, even though Long Beach is in LA County, like it's very different from LA. Like LA people are a different beast. Like they come from everywhere. And so when I first started hanging out around here and going to functions and shit, like I used to get so anxious to talk to people. And then I would talk and have a normal conversation and shit, but at the end of it I'm like, oh shit, am I weird? I'm fucking weird. Maybe they stopped talking to me because I'm fucking weird.
Yeah. No, I get that same way
right.
too, dude.
And then I'm like, and then it took me a while to just realize maybe it's not me. Maybe y'all are weird.
Yeah, right.
Like who gives a fuck? Like who cares? But yeah, and then I just remember always like before in my earlier stages, I would always write songs about like feeling like I couldn't fit in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not that I think that I'm so out of place that I don't belong, but I just feel like everybody in LA, they're flexing, you know? Not everybody, but like a good amount. Majority. Like it's always like
at least 51%.
At least 51. No, for real though.
Yeah.
And I always just felt like shit, I'm just me. Like I'm me. I'm here. If you want to talk to me, like talk to me. And I would write about that. Like everybody, like I wrote a song. Everybody's dancing except for me, because it felt like everybody was like doing shit. Everybody was like flexing about how they got this and that and like this deal and blah blah blah. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just here trying to do what I can and make my art and survive and like be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Well, I think it comes down to there's two different sets of artists. Now that I'm like talking to you about this, but like one set of artists really just talk about what they're doing, and another set of artists talk about how they're feeling.
Yeah.
So when you kind of break it down, like not a lot of people do like what is being done, right? Like you think about Jay-Z, for example, right?
Yeah.
The reason why I can't connect with Jay-Z
Yeah.
is because he talks about so much shit that he does where I'm just like, yo, I can't relate to these experiences.
Yeah. You're like,
but
I'm not a billionaire.
I'm not a billionaire talking about I got like Basquiat's and all this shit, dude.
I
like,
wish, but
I
like,
wish.
I mean, I'm gonna put that into the universe.
But then like I find myself gravitating more towards artists who can explain their feelings a little bit more vividly.
Yeah.
Because even like the idea of Take a Walk, I was just imagining like a 5-minute movie in my head, aside from watching your music video. But it's like, you know how many times you can just like tell someone like, yo, let's take a walk, let's talk about this type of shit. I've had conversations like that so much to the point where I'm just like, yo, I really don't want to spill this shit right now, but I really have to just tell the truth, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like feelings are something that, you know, people like ourselves tend to gravitate toward a little bit more.
Yeah. I was in a weird place where like I felt ashamed for having feelings. Not like it sucks, you know, like it's hard to talk about the shit that hurts you or to talk about the things that gets you. But at the end of the day, like who's really strong if you can say your piece, say whatever the fuck you're feeling and then be unaffected by it. And like that's kind of like I don't want anybody to ever emotion shame me. Like fuck that. Like I have feelings. I'm human. But like I'm not gonna do any more than I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not, at least my own character, I feel like yes, I am an emotional person, but I'm still considerate about other people. Like I'm not gonna be overly dramatic and overly emotional to hurt someone or to make people feel guilty. If I tell you something that hurts me, it's because it's affecting me.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
that's, I don't know. There's so many things that's like, at the end of the day, like when I'm all sassy and shit, I'm just like, fuck feelings, fuck that. But, but when I'm alone, I'm like, oh, fuck.
You're just stuck
I'm
with
in
it.
it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, shit, I have feelings. Like,
Well,
people have feelings, and that's okay. Like, it's fine.
Well, it's
like,
crazy how strength can be perceived in different ways, in which, like, you can be strong by not explaining your feelings, but you can also be strong by, saying your feelings, like, enough.
Yeah.
Because I have, like, so many friends who are kind of just in this robotic mode where, especially in the music industry, like, you get your feelings hurt, like, it's really hard to maneuver through.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you also have to remember, like, well, shit, if you made me feel like shit, I'm going to tell you made me feel like shit because that's just a human in you.
Yeah.
And we kind of maneuver through, okay, well, do I be robotic today or do I be human today? And kind of apply it to, like, different moments.
Yeah. I mean, as an artist, you have an outlet. Like, I personally, it's way easier for me to write a song about it than to tell a person. Like, I'm not going to lie and say I get prideful too. Like, sometimes I don't want to be like, you got me all up in my feelings and shit like that. I don't want to say that shit. So sometimes it's easier for me to do it in a song, and then I come to terms with it, And artists, we are some of the most emotional beings. I mean,
hell yeah. You guys relate to the masses.
I mean, we're creatives. Where does that come from? Like, if that shit don't make you feel, like, there's a purpose for every type of music, and like, it makes you feel something, right? And I want to give strength in emotion, because it's not about you feeling and being in the moment, being in your feelings. It's how do you navigate past it.
Damn.
Like, if you're a strong person, you can say all your shit on the table and then be like, but I'm still good. Like, here's my heart, but I have so much love. I have people who fuck with me. I have people who care about me, that it doesn't matter if you hurt me, because I'm still good. And like, I always try to take that with me, because I have a strong support system, and when people hurt me, I'm like, it doesn't matter, because I'm loved and I feel loved and I love myself. So fuck it. What do I have to lose? Life is short. Emotions are emotions. You get past it. Whatever. Like, whatever. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna just tell you, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. So yeah.
This is where all the deep shit happens, man.
Yeah.
Just grabbed a shovel just a little bit,
Nah.
dug a little bit.
It's
But
just my mind. My mind is crazy.
I
spend
tell.
a lot of time in my mind.
Well, I can tell you. Are you one of those people who kind of just like sit down and are just like puzzled by everything that happens throughout your day?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a very, very introspective person. Like, there's not a day that passes by where I don't think about other people. I don't think about myself. I at the end of the night before I sleep, I'm like, I go through my day, and then I think about how it affected me, or how can I be better, or what can I do better, or how did this reaction lead to this, or even if it was bad, like, let's say I have a bad session, like, just to not carry that weight that sometimes it is what it is, and just accepting it and just like, just move,
Well, it's funny you say that, because it's kind of like how I take a lot of situations as this plane is passing by right now. So, like, I kind of like to think of situations as a backpack, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you go on throughout your day, and then you just have, like, a number of things happening to you. You keep on adding it to your backpack, and it's literally like a weight getting carried on your shoulders,
1,000%.
right? And by the end of the day, like, I try to go to bed and think about like, okay, well, how can I take off all this weight? Because if it carries on to the next day, that's what leads to even more stress and more
yeah.
and less of you trying to progress in life.
Yeah.
Because you're carrying shit that essentially like it
It's not,
matters, but
but
then
it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Like it matters, but it doesn't matter. I always rationalize shit by thinking, okay, in 10 years from now, would I remember this moment? Like, am I about to lose sleep over blah 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 blah? And most likely the answer is gonna be no.
yeah.
And that's literally how I unpack. I'm like,
So what?
would I remember this shit? Probably not.
Let me ask you this, and I don't mean to like bring up dirty laundry, but
Mhm.
like, what's something that you've kept for like the longest time, like on your shoulders?
Something that I've done or like a situation.
Like a situation that you just like couldn't let go of for the longest time.
To be honest, I don't carry situations on my back. I think the biggest weight that I carry on my shoulder that weighs on me is my family. I think I try not to carry situations like that on my shoulder because what for? Like, that's the past. And I know myself as a person. And if I've ever done anything, it's not out of malice. And if something went wrong, like, it just went wrong. It's that I don't have control over that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try not to carry like specific things on my back because I always tell people, like, I'm not a perfect person. Like, if you have a problem with me, I need you to tell me. And I'll thank you for it because I want to be better. And I'm not egotistical enough to get mad at you for that. And I have other shit that's bigger than my small situations that carry more weight on me that I need to worry about. So that's, I don't know. I just like, it is what it is. People are people. You know, I can't carry bad character on my shoulders. I don't want people to pity me. Like, I don't want people to feel bad for the wrongs that they've done to me because at the end of the day, like, I'm still walking, I'm still moving, I still have shit to do. So, like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a sense too, by people being upfront with you, it kind of gives them a little peace of mind too. Like, I've already said my piece.
Yeah.
And you just move forward from it.
Yeah. Like, I don't believe in grudges. Like, I can't hold a grudge. Like, I can look at someone and be like, I don't fuck with you, but I'm not going to be mad at you. Like, I'm still going to wish you a happy life and hope for the best for you. But, like, I just...
Yeah. It's
I
like
can't hold grudges. Why?
it's like Kanye West.
Kills me.
He fucks with Trump, but we all love his music still.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I get it. Like, other people they grew up differently. Like, if there's a shitty person, in my mind, okay, we have to come to terms that sometimes there's just shitty people, or they've gone through shit in their life that the world wasn't as kind, and so that's their reaction to the things that happen to them, and I can't carry that on my shoulder. That's your human, you know, that's your experiences, and I can't let that affect me. I can do my best to make things better, but at the end of the day, if that's you and it's affecting me in ways that I don't like I just
Fuck it.
Like,
Fuck it.
fuck it, yeah.
Shit, you got better things to worry about. You got music to worry about.
I got music, I got my family, like, I have my people in my life, people that are rooting for me to win, and, like, shit. The fact that I get to do this shit every day, and I grew up where I grew up, and the fact that when I was a kid, everything that I'm doing now, it seemed so untouchable. Like, it seemed so out of reach. So I'm just thankful to be here, and I'm thankful that I have people in my life that really care about what I'm doing. And it doesn't matter if it's one person, it doesn't matter if it's 1 million, it doesn't matter if it's 10 million, like, it's still one person. Like, I don't know.
So, you know, seeing as how your parents moved from Cambodia to Long Beach, into like poverty in Long Beach,
Mm-hmm.
right? Normally the consensus is you go and get a job that's just going to pay you guap like
Yeah.
right away, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the doctor, lawyer shit that
Yep.
all us Asians,
Asian parents.
you know, all Asian parents want us
Yeah.
to be, right? So, like,
Yep.
what did they think about you wanting to
music.
pursue a music career?
Oh man. Well, I mean, I grew up with 6 siblings, and I'm the youngest.
Jeez.
So, by the time they reached to me, they were just like, they just like gave up.
Like, yo, do
They were just
whatever the
like,
fuck you
yup,
want to
they
do.
were- At that point, they were like, you know what? I'm old. Like, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Like, just don't ask for help. As far as, I mean, ask for help when you need it, but like as long as you can pay your bills and you don't have to ask me every month, like you're good. Like, we're proud of you. And like
Wow.
growing up, like from elementary school till now, they were always just like, do it as a hobby, do it as a hobby. Well, not till now, but like from my young adult life, they're just, please just do it as a hobby, do it as a hobby. And then I got older, and once I hit 18, I stopped asking them for help. Like I got a job and shit like that. Like, I went to school, I got my degree. So like once I got my degree, like they were cool.
What'd you get your degree in?
Some bullshit.
Hey,
one.
come on,
But it's still a degree. You know, I got in health and human services.
Hey, there we go.
You know, I was like, if I didn't do music, I would do some philanthropic work. Like, I would definitely work for a nonprofit and like do some sort of community outreach.
Wow, shout out to you, man. That's
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. I want to use my platform to do something bigger than what I am.
Yeah.
If I can get there, and if not, then I'll navigate. But yeah, that's what I would do. But yeah, like legit, like since I'm I got it good because I'm the youngest.
Yeah,
Because I had my older siblings to kind of.
That's the
spoil me
cheat
too.
code, man. You gotta be the
young one.
youngest. You gotta be like, man, we don't give a
But-
fuck. You do it.
But then I started singing when I was so young. Like, there's like videos of me in front of the camera on VHS, just like going off, and
That's
I think
tight.
they always like knew that that's what I wanted to do. I mean, I started songwriting when I was like 13 or 12.
Wow.
Yeah, and like always in my room, always playing music, and then when I turned 18, obviously I went to school, and at that point I feel like that's when you're 18 and going to school and like trying to figure out your major and shit like that I feel like that's when people are like, okay, am I really gonna commit to this
Yeah.
unconventional ass life, or am I gonna continue to go to school and be a nurse, blah blah blah, or whatever, you know? And then I just, in my mind, I always knew that I was always gonna do music. Like, yes, I kind of had a plan B by going to school, but that was more for my parents, just so they could have peace of mind. And I was like, I could do both. So I did all of it at the same time. And I don't regret it. Like, yeah, I'm a little bit older going into the game, but the peace of mind that it would give my parents, like, that's worth the time.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
nothing.
I think in a sense you're kind of saying like, hey, I can do what you want me to do. In a sense, like I can do what you want me to do and what success means to you guys, like getting your degree and whatnot. However, I can also do what I want to do and whatever success means to me as well.
Yeah, definitely. And my parents they've just gone through so much bullshit at this point, and just they've had so many life experiences that when it came to me, they were like, okay, like, you're smart. You can do whatever you want to do. And I know that if this music shit doesn't work out, like, you'll figure it out. And I don't think they're worried about me at this point. I mean, my mom still calls me every now and again, just to ask me, like, if how I am. She's like, what'd you eat today? Or like, some random mom shit. She really called me. She'd be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm at work. And she'll be like, what'd you eat? I'm like,
Look, I didn't
salad.
eat yet.
I don't know. She went, okay, I love you. Bye. That's literally
That's
it.
hella funny.
That's like
I mean, dude, shout out to your mom though, because not a lot of people like get that little checkup.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
My mom's
I
aware
remember,
of it.
dude, because I remember growing up, like, my mom would check up on me all the time, like, you good, you good, you good? I'm like, yes.
Yes, mom.
I'm
good.
okay.
I'm good.
Da-da. And then as soon as I moved out the crib, I'm just like,
Yeah, I kind of
oh,
miss
fuck,
that.
like,
I kind of miss
damn, you weren't actually bugging. You were really checking on how I am. And like, she
Yeah.
doesn't text me so much. So I'm just like, yo, like, I got to call her right now.
You're like, Mom,
She
you
was like,
still love me?
she's like, oh, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. I just want to say hi.
When I moved out in college, I remember I went home and then I gave her a hug and then I started crying.
That's
and
hella funny.
she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just miss you. Oh, that's like so stupid. It's like, I just miss you. She's like,
She's like, okay.
fine. It's fine. I was like, yeah.
Shit, she's
Oh,
like
no.
Chingy, always one call away.
Well,
Shout out to the Millennium Tour.
For real. For real.
Dude, that's insane. Because it sounds like your parents essentially had like 6 tries.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like by the time it gets to you, they're kind of a little bit more lenient. Like, you know.
Yeah. They're like, I have a bunch of grandkids already. Like, all your other siblings are cool. Like, whatever. Like, do your thing. And I think while we were growing up, they were a lot more stressed because that's when you're raising people, like, to be whatever they're going to be. And you don't know if they're going to end up on the streets or you don't know if they're going to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So they were, like, stressing. And then now that we're all a little bit older and they have their own situations going on and they can take care of themselves, it just becomes a bigger network. You know what I mean? Like, with all, just a bigger support system with assets and shit like that. So I think for me, they were just do you. Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. Yeah.
So,
Shit, I don't know where I'm going to be in 3 years. Like, who knows?
and no one really knows, man. You know what I noticed, because I'm such a spontaneous person, right? And my girlfriend, for example, she likes to plan shit out.
Yeah.
I find, like, even just I'll use yesterday as an example.
Oh,
She's like, you never plan out like what we end up doing. I'm just like, okay, let me try to figure something out right now. But then, you know, I found like I personally work best in like the spontaneous moments, because it's like life is just very unknowing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Life
And I kind of find pleasure in not knowing what the fuck is about to happen. Because if you think about mapping out the rest of your life, right?
Nothing's ever gonna go to plan.
It's never going to.
Never. And to expect that's just giving yourself disappointment. So, I mean, you can have a rough trajectory of where life can go, but just as long as you expect room for error, like.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It's like I never would have known that. Like, for instance, when I was in college, right? There was this one class I was in, and they had asked everybody, like, what are you gonna do next year? Because you guys are graduating.
Mm-hmm.
And I straight up stood up. I was the only person in my class who stood up, and I was like, I'm gonna be on the radio in the next year.
Hey.
And everyone just looked at me just like, funny.
Hey,
Little did they know that I was wrong, but I got on the radio in 2 years.
But
so
still,
you know what I mean?
You
But
put
you know
it
what
out,
I mean?
You put it out into the universe, and that's all you can do, you know?
Of course.
Shout out to you, though.
Shit, I mean,
good for you.
I try, you know, I'm a firm believer of just A, putting things into the universe, and B, like, I think with whatever you can really set your mind to, you will end up accomplishing eventually.
Yeah,
it might not, you know, it might not be within the year, it might not be within the 2 years. It's just gonna happen. It's just gonna happen when it happens.
I mean, life is like, it's probability, you know? Like, the more that you put into whatever you're gonna do, it increases your chances of achieving it. And it just depends. I mean, there's so many circumstances that fall into it, but I mean, if you put it out and you work hard, you're gonna get closer than you would if you didn't. So
did you ever think that you were going to, I guess, sign to this thing called Transparent Agency, which has acts like Far East Movement and Dumbfounded?
Dude, that's so funny. Those guys are great. You know, so, I mean, I've been writing, like, bedroom stuff previous. Like, I started playing the guitar and shit when I was, like, 12 and doing YouTube. Like, you could probably still find it, but please don't. Please don't.
Do we type in Satica or?
I'm going.
Don't dig yourself a
Don't
hole.
do it. You know what? Whatever. It's on the internet. It
is there forever.
It's there.
It's living.
It's there.
It's probably not
You
even
see,
pixelated and like.
That was trash, but it's fine. You see me as a high schooler. But yeah, so when I was 18, I did this like amateur project. It was my first one. It's called Sirenum. And then it just happened once it came out in 2014. Like I had one of my old managers, his name is Tom, and he played it for FM, and they were like, "Oh, like we want to have a session with her." And then I went into this studio that always smelled like weed. Just like you don't even have to smoke. It was in Inglewood. You don't have to smoke, but you come out smelling like just straight backwoods.
Yeah.
And like trying to explain that to your parents is like when you're like 18.
It's like, look, I was just in the room.
Yeah,
I didn't smoke anything.
I didn't do it, Mom. I'm just kidding. Not that she would really care, but yeah. And then I had one session with them, and then I just remember staying up with them till like 5 a.m. And then the next day they're like, "Okay, we want to assign you to our management team." And I was like, "Oh shit." I didn't even know, like that wasn't even on my radar of something that I needed or something that I wanted. Like I literally just put out a project, like super amateur. It was just me and my friend. Like we made it in a garage, and that was that. And then I just stuck with them. And then now that I've been with them since 2014, so it's been 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been 5 years, and they've like stuck with me through all my artist development and shit. And now that I'm older and I have friends, a bunch of friends that are in the music industry, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't have a manager." I'm like, I got so lucky. Like that shit just fell into my lap. I wasn't looking for it. I didn't even know that I needed it, and it just happened. And yeah, literally just fell into my lap.
Well, I mean, honestly, you're in good company though too.
Dude, they're great. They're like everybody on that team is great. Like they always looked out for my best interest. They've never pressured me to change myself. They've never pressured me to do things that I don't want to do, because at least for the management, like artist side, like it's Forest Movement. And those guys are smart. They hustle. Like they're like probably some of the hardest working people that I've known. I'm like, I'll ask my manager Kev, I'm like, "Kev, are you sleeping?" He's like, "Not really, but I'm cool." And I'm like, y'all are wildin'. Y'all are wild. They're like, "Yeah, I just came back from China." I was like, "I saw you yesterday, bro." Like,
what the hell?
fuck?
It's like, when did you go to China and
I know,
back
and
within the
back,
past 24
and then come
hours?
back to like, what? Yeah, no. And yeah, all of them, they worked super hard. And and I mean, at the end of the day, they had a hit. So it's like,
shit, they had a couple hits.
They had a couple hits, like Rocketeer, like a G6. I remember, I was like, "Yo, if you don't play like a G6 at my wedding, I'm gonna be so pissed."
And they got to come out with the outfits too.
I know.
Dude, well, that's why, like, being part of something like Transparent Agency, like, especially at such a younger portion of your career, like that was damn near the beginning of your career.
Yeah, like
right?
Professionally, yeah. Like it kind of made it seem more accessible. Like my dreams weren't as far as I thought they were when I was just in my room on the east side of Long Beach, like in a fucking small ass apartment, and living with like 5 other people. Like, it seemed like they knew what they were doing, especially being Asian. Like growing up, we didn't have people on TV that look like us.
No.
Hell no. We still don't have people on TV that look like us. So like, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, like they're really good guys, and they have really good, like they have a great ear. They're smart. They hustle. Like they know what they want. Like I this feels right. And so I just did it. They even helped me, like I didn't have shit, so they even helped me get a lawyer and shit like that to go look over the paperwork. And I was just like, wow. And I just got fucking lucky. Like I don't even know how to.
So then how is like Transparent Agency like help develop you as an artist?
I think they just took their resources and shared them with me. Really helping me get into rooms with other songwriters and stuff, and like understanding the pop world, because I started out writing pop. No, actually first I started writing out like electronic music, and I was like, I don't know if this is for me, but I'll do it. And then just getting me in rooms with different people, and then really kind of instilling in my brain, what is your identity, and what parts of that do you want to share with the world? Which is like, as a person, how many times, like, if you're like a regular ass person, and I'm a regular ass person, like, how often do you think about that? Like,
Yeah, 'cause that's a tough question.
right? Like, how often do you think about, okay, like, what are all the things that make you you, and how can you share that with the world? And not only do that, do it visually, which is like your brand. You know what I mean? And but even that, it's not just visually. It's like, what do you represent? What's the bigger picture? And they they made me become more conscious of that. Like, what makes me me? What kind of music do I want? Like, what's the message? What's the bigger picture? And if I didn't have that, I would just write because I needed to write because of expression. And they kind of just helped me navigate the realities of this industry.
Mm.
And it's always like this.
Yeah.
You know,
mean,
anybody that tells you otherwise, they're fucking bullshitting.
Yeah, this industry is just always ongoing and like ever changing.
Always.
But I think what tends to happen, and I think they really coached you on this too, was to really find yourself and understand your identity, because it's easy to get, even musically, it's very easy to get lost in the sauce. I see artists who tend to go like the, let's say the R and bass realm, for example, and then that's all they stick to. Shout out Jay Main though. He's been doing like a great thing. And then you find people who end up doing like the mumble rap shit. It's like, but then there's already like a core group of people. And so what tends to happen is that a lot of artists like to capitalize on these like smaller, or on these subgenres that end up like popping off, that they forget. But what's my music?
Yeah.
What's the music that I want to make that fully represents me?
Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah, they've always helped me maintain, like, okay, what's your writing style? And not that I naturally gravitate towards certain things, but they just really instilled what it really takes to be an artist, and make money, and
so
survive.
What does it take?
It's just, you gotta be genuine. You gotta hone in on your craft. Like, there's no A plus B equals C, but there are things that you could do that will help you, which is like just showing your true self and being active and shit like that on social. Like, socials are like a whole nother game. That's like the actual business side of everything. Yeah. But just like, as far as like an artist, it's just being genuine and like really knowing who you are, and if you have shit to say, like, say it. And when I met them and I told them about my story and shit, like where I come from and the shit that my parents have gone through, the shit that I've gone through because my parents have gone through that, like, they were just like, wow, like, you have a story that you need to tell to the world, because not a lot of people know. And they've just always really babied my artist development. Because when I first met them, I was in school. And I was working like to pay for school and to live, and I did sessions. And so they were kind enough to even, like, if I needed space to just chill out on the sessions when shit would get overwhelming, they were like, okay, you're like, don't worry, like, don't stress, like, it'll come when you come. Like, it'll come when it's natural to you, and you just gotta take care of yourself. And when I did it full time, they really were just, keep your identity as a writer. Like, yeah, you can write about generic shit all day. You can write a pop song and stuff like that. And we appreciate that you know how to do that and stuff. But for your artist stuff, like, tell your story. And these next few records, because I only have like 7 songs out.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I literally only have, but I have so many records, Yeah. Like, it's not like I haven't been doing shit, but it's just I balance between the writer and the artist side, because at the end of the day, I am a writer, and I could still write for other people. But my first 4, which was Drippin', the EP that came out, I was just kind of dabbling and just seeing what I can do. Because that was like my first time really going in full time, no job, no school, nothing, could just focus in. Like, I wasn't even sure if I was able to write a song every day.
Damn.
So I was just writing shit, going in the rooms with different people. And not only that, like, when you have sessions with people, people are giving you your time. Like, I didn't have shit to offer at the time. You know, like, I don't got a bag to be like, hey, you want to work with me? So like, I was just building relationships, and when you go into a session, like, it's like a first date. Like, you don't know this person, so I'm supposed to sync up with you musically and emotionally and talk about shit, or I'm just gonna write something. And the first like 2 years was literally me just kind of building relationships with people.
2 years.
Yeah.
Insane.
Building relationships with people, seeing what I can do, not only songwriting wise, but even vocally, stylistically, everything. Like, it takes time. Like, all of that shit takes time. And they really just babied my artist development. And then I kind of got into like a rhythm of like what I naturally gravitated to. And that's kind of like, I could do like pop stuff, but like what I like to talk about for my own artist stuff are my experiences and the way that I view the world and the way that I perceive people and life.
Well, in a sense, it's like you can write a whole bunch of the pop stuff for like the bigger pop artists, right?
I love writing pop too.
Yeah, you know, like, and that's cool, but it's like you can't write something so personal and then give it to somebody else to be like, oh, here, tell my story for me.
You can't. Yeah, especially like when it comes down to the specific things. Like, how is someone else gonna resonate with that when they haven't gone through it? And then when you write something super personal, when there's a difference when you write something because like, oh, it's sonically pleasing versus when you write something because you need it to. And I can't, like, the need for expression. And it's hard for me to give that away. Like, it's really, really hard for me to give that away. Like, that's a piece of me that I would be giving to someone else to tell my story and coming out of someone else's mouth.
Yeah.
And that's just strange for me. So that's why, as much of an introvert I am, as shy as I am, as much as it terrifies me to sing in front of people, like, no one else can sing about those things except for me. So,
you know, back to your point, like, I mean, that totally makes sense. It's kind of like, it's kind of like giving somebody else the credit of your life experiences and you kind of just being casted into the shadows.
Yeah, that's hard. That's giving a piece of your heart away. And I still even feel like that with just songs that I've written. I mean, I'm happy. Like, I can go in a room with someone else and help them tell their story, but to write something that's super personal to me and give that away, like, that'd be hard.
Now you leave that to Satica to tell that story.
Satica. April.
April.
It was so funny because when I first met Forest Movement, and I was going by April at the time, and then I told them my real name, and they were like, "What the fuck?" They're like, "Your name is Satica, and you about to go by April? That's like you wanted to be called Joanne." And I was like,
"Damn!" And I was like, "Shout out to the Joannes of the world."
No, I love all Joanne. Hey, Lady Gaga is Joanne. So
she?
No, wait, is she?
I don't know.
Wait, I don't know. She released an album. Never mind. Don't quote me on that. Never mind. No, but for real, they said that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't realize
that name just sounds a little bit. I mean, Satica just goes. It sounds a little bit more, how do I say?
Regal?
Exotic. Sounds a little bit more exotic. It's like, what is she?
Cultural as fuck.
Yeah, hella cultural.
Hella Cambodian.
So, you know, seeing as how, like, you know, Dumbfounded, for example, right? He's, like, so tapped in with 88 Rising. Like, he was on their festival last year. Like, have you ever, like, chopped it up with people from 88 Rising?
You know what? I haven't. I really haven't. I mean, like, my team from Transparent, like, I know, like, we have a good relationship, but I haven't really spoken to anybody from 88 Rising. But I always get, like, tags and stuff, like, being like, hey,
sign her.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they're dope. Like, I love what they're doing for the Asian community and, like, making that shit, like, look cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everything that they do is super tasteful, but yeah, no, I haven't. I mean, I really don't have that much music out for myself. So, like, I don't, people don't even really know the things that I've been doing and the things that I'm capable of doing. because I don't really have much out.
But you've been songwriting, right?
Yeah.
Who have you been songwriting for?
I mean, I just did like a whole thing for this K-pop artist, but now she's transitioning over to the American market. Tiffany. She's one of my good friends.
See, that's right. Lorraine put me on Tiffany too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, I love Tiffany. She's such a kind person. And it's so crazy because when I see her, like, I see her for the person that she is. Like, the kind person that she is. And then I forget that she goes to Korea, and then she's like, she got, like, paparazzis and shit. I'm like, wait, that's my friend. Like, I don't see her, like, I see her as a queen. Like, I love all my beautiful girlfriends in this world, but I see her for the spirit that she is. And then I forget that, like, oh shit, she got people like really lurking on all her business.
Yeah.
And like paparazzi and like people like just blasting her all day. And I'm like, wow, what a life. Like, that's just wild. Idolization is wild.
Dude, so do you think, you being an introvert, do you think you would be ready for that type of situation in which like you just get bombarded with messages and comments and all that shit 24/7?
I mean,
and I'm talking about the hypothetical, the realistic situation in which you blow up.
Aw, I hope so. I mean, just because I'm an introvert, it doesn't necessarily mean I can't handle people. Like, when I say an introvert, I just mean that it is exhausting for me to talk to people in person. But like, privacy is important to me, but I understand that it just comes with the territory. And if people care about me enough to take time out of their day to message me and come see me and take photos of me, like, yeah, that's going to be really difficult, and that's not an ideal lifestyle, and neither is that normal, but like, I get it, you know, and I'm prepared to take that, because what you get in exchange from having a platform is so much more powerful to me. Yeah.
Woo. That hit.
Oh,
that hit.
thank you.
That hit. That hit.
Oh, damn. I didn't realize I would. Yeah, I don't know. How weird.
No, that's some real ass shit.
Well,
That's
thanks
really
for talking to me. Even you giving me your time. That's what I'm like. Really, you want to hear about the things I have to say? Like,
of course.
That's really nice. Time is the only thing you can't get back, and like, I'm thankful. Like, I'm super thankful. I'm like, wow. If people actually take time out of their day to comment on my shit, listen to my music, watch me, I'm like, wow.
That's why your Twitter is wild. You be retweeting every single person.
Oh, dude. Thank you. I know, I'm an asshole.
Hey, wait.
I'm the one of those retweets. I'm like, sorry, I'm about to blast your shit.
Sorry, I'm gonna be an asshole really quick. Let me, I need to ask you this.
I didn't know that you follow me. You follow me?
Of course.
Wait, I didn't
Yo,
see that.
that's how I found this tweet.
Oh, God, what did I say?
And I wanted to ask you about this to kind of get, like, my entertainment game going on. You said, to my internet crush that has no idea I exist, I love you. Spill.
No.
Spill.
No. Nope. I can't do it. I'm sorry. But I love you, though.
Hey, you know, I just had to, like, I had to see what I could come up with.
I can't do it. He doesn't know I exist, and it's great.
But let him know you exist. Speak it into existence.
Nah.
It's all good. So, Satica, like, when can we expect a debut project from you?
June.
Oh, shit. Well, it's like, right now it's May 27th.
Yeah.
We're talking June 1st?
First
sometime in June.
Second single from so Take a Walk was actually the first single from off the EP, and then the next one, that shit, I've been holding on to that one for 2 years.
The next single,
like, that shit is special to me, and like, now I'm finally ready to put it out. So that's gonna come out in June, and then I think by the end of June the entire project will come out. So I'm really, really excited.
Tight. What was the name of the project again?
You know what? I'm battling, but right now it's Dear April, I Love You. But I
wow.
yeah. That was my first screen name. That was my first AIM screen name. And I was like, it's just like, that's a part of me, So I just figured. So many people are like, I remember you from being April Nem. Like,
Dear April, I love you.
Yeah, so it's Dear April, I love you.
That's tight. It sounds like it's going to be a kind of like a memoir to yourself.
Yeah.
In a sense. Because even that description you put on your Twitter about take a walk, I was just like, over here, I was thinking about it was a situation about somebody else, but you're really just talking about yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it was a situation that I had with someone else. Mm-hmm. But I needed to express that because it was a part of me that I had to come to terms with, that, like, as much as I wanted to be a cold bitch, like, I could be a bitch, but what for? And, like, that message was more important to me than the situation itself, which was, like, this is me as a person and coming to terms with it. Because I was, like, it was a situation that was bad, and then I was in my fucking head. In my head. I was like, why is this getting to me? Who am I? What do I need to come to terms with? And it was that. And then I wrote that thing. And now it's out. And now it's out into the world. So yeah. It'd be like that.
Shit, I mean, I love it, though. It just goes back to this entire conversation where you're talking about just be transparent, just be, like, fully into, like, whatever you're feeling and, like, letting it go.
Yeah.
Because now it just seems like everything that you were holding on to from Take a Walk and this next single that you're about to drop, it's kind of like, these are my feelings, and now I'm kind of just letting it go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
I'm excited.
I'm excited, too, man. I'm excited to listen to your first project. Dear April, I Love You.
Oh, well, this is my second EP.
Second EP. Oh, well, shit. Well, I thought it was an album. Fuck.
No, it's an EP.
Okay.
And then I'll do an album. I know. I have so many records, but it was important to me that these next ones were, like, really about who I am. So, just a little intro.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, Satica, so where can everybody find you?
You can find me on all platforms, Satica Music, SATICA Music. I'm on IG, Twitter, all that shit. Spotify, whatever. You want to buy my music, call out your girl. Would appreciate that.
And one last time, too, shout out to my best friend Lorraine for hooking this up, man.
Hey.
You should see a check in the mail coming soon. This is The Lunch Table, Food for Thought. I'm Nico Blitz, Satica, and we are out, everybody.
Thank you for having me.